whoa. The pressure just gone.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
I feel so much better.
We worked hard for that one.
I feel light, very light. I feel like I'm walking on clouds.
Like everything that's been going on in your own words, what's happening?
How everything? I got so many problems.
How I know we spoke like a while back, and I know there's some history with some like GI kind of issues. Why don't we start with like how that's progressed in the last year or not, and what's done better, what's done worse. And then in the last few weeks, like it says on the intake form, like 2+ weeks, there's pain in the shoulders. I saw there's some dizziness.
Yeah.
Numbness hands. Which hand? The tremor. Tell me everything about it.
So the digestion is pretty much the same. My digestion issues, the nausea kind of subsided a little bit. It's only like right now I have some, but it's not like an everyday pain or like it doesn't make me want to vomit in the morning. But as far as like the bowel changes, it's the same. It's like the stomach aches, the same intolerances. Everything's pretty much the same. And I kind of live around that, so it's not a big deal anymore. But as far as the arm pains, it's really body aches, entire body aches. So the first time I noticed was my entire body was hurting. Like I felt tired, I felt heavy. It was weird, and I had pain all the way to my toes, like from my shoulders, my neck, all the way down to my toes. And it was really weird. And now it's like mostly just arm pain. So it'll start like in between my shoulder blades and then just slowly progress throughout the day, and it gets worse in the evening and night. And all the way to the tips of my fingers, and sometimes the pain is so bad where like I'll literally put my hand under cold water and I'll get the chills because like the pain is so bad. I guess the water feels nice, the cold water. So I'll get chills and I'll get like tingling and like pins and needles at the tip of my fingers.
Just one side or both sides?
Both. Okay. So like one day it'll be this one, the next day it'll be the other, or both, or my whole body. Who knows? It's always very random. But the tremor is mostly on this hand, but it's very mild.
And when do you notice it, and what's it like? Is it like the whole hand kind of doing this, or is it something like this?
When it's at rest, it doesn't. There's no tremor. But I notice it's like when I'm doing something, like when I'm holding something, or like right now it got kind of better. It's very mild now, but in the beginning it was like it got a little embarrassing because I was like, when I go to Starbucks, I show my phone and my hand would be shaking.
Yeah.
Or my friends would notice.
So it's like reaching forward and then something like this.
And it's like just holding, even the remote, like when I'm changing it or when I'm trying to have like a cup of something to my brother or my friend, it's like just shaking. It's embarrassing.
Gotcha. All right. Any possibility that you're drinking a lot of coffee? Just because a lot of times with when the adrenals get fatigued or where like on caffeine withdrawal, almost like symptoms, because we're so dependent on it because it's so good, of course. Maybe not good for us, but there's a lot of good that comes with it. I know. It can be a problem with the jitters. Let's see. So this overall body pain. Have you been in a car accident? Has there been any trauma?
I was in a car accident recently in February. I got rear-ended. I was actually here at ET. It was right at the light on Campbell, and someone just slammed right into me. So that's about it. I didn't get hurt or anything.
You rear-ended at like 20, 30 miles an hour?
More? Yeah. She was definitely like, I was telling my brother that I saw her since way back, that she was like too close, going too fast. And like the light was red and she wouldn't stop, and I saw it coming.
And this past February. This is like the other day then, more or less. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll have to get X-rays. Just rule out some things here. Okay. I think if we get the X-rays that we need to get, we'll know if there's potentially an injury that happened in your cervical spine in particular is what I'm worried about, based on getting rear-ended and a whiplash. And even though you're not experiencing any pain after a certain amount of time, the residual effects of something getting injured that we just didn't know about, we want to make sure that it's not, how should we say, not just compromised. We don't want to see that it's actually potentially broken or a ligament that maybe got so sprained has made something impossible to move and is causing all sorts of distortion, right, with the neurovascular flow. We're talking about nerve flow or blood flow. So we want to make sure that's not something that's unsafe for us to adjust, but also we can work on everything chiropractically as it, again, you know, like what I, you know, Juan knows, you know, what I say all the time is we have to get the areas where the nerve is feeding the organ, muscle, or gland working as best as it can. This is your right and this is your left. This is what I feel now. You had a lot of swelling down here, and we can see that there's a good amount of bowing right out here on that right side. You know what I mean? So if you have hip pain all the time, what I want to point out is that, like this first and second lumbar, so I'll use the mouse, right? So this is your last thoracic bone, and this is your first and second lumbar bone. So these house the area that actually feed the hips. And on you, we found a lot of swelling here, and it doesn't really move well, and it had a little bit of pain or tenderness, right? So I think with the SI joints moving well, even though there might be imbalance here, what I really like to do is make sure we get this moving good today, and that way you don't have such tight hips. And then I'll show you a couple of things you can do to like stretch like your hip flexors muscles. What I was scared of, right, is that there's no instability. So this is you with your neck like this, and those are your earrings, right?
Yeah.
Well, they are. But this right here is stable. It's in a good position. There's no instability. However, if you look at C2, 3, and 4, these red dots are actually a good bit in front of, now we're talking very small space, right? Of this vertebra here.
Yeah.
So 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a lot of open flexion and open pack back here where this disc could be aggravated because this bone is moving too much above. So again, if I have the same feature up, let's assume that I do. See, and then this one's even further back.
Yeah.
So there's a reduced amount of motion in this right here that's keeping pressure on the nerves that are feeding your face, thyroid, eyes, blood flow to the head, everything that's going on that's dependent on the cervical spine to work well. And also the reason that you don't have a kind of a curve from here that's going up continuous the way that I'd like to see. All that is because this needs to move, and these are moving too much. Now there's a chance that maybe we have to work on upper cervical in the future. And we know that it's safe to adjust and that nothing in that car accident happened that would make it that we can't adjust. Secondly, it gives us an idea. It gives us, I'm going to flip this so it's like we're looking at you from behind. Okay, so this is your left side and that's your right side. Now we have what we call like our listing. So now I know exactly the best way to, you know, make the adjustment. Tell me what's most tender, like which one has a little bit more pain to it. So 1, 2. Okay. So right now we're picking up on 4, L3, L2, and you said L3 is a little bit more tender, right? So the bottom one?
Yeah.
And we have a reading here at T1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what's most tender? Is it going to be a little more painful here at 7 or 8? 8. Okay. So T8. Lean back, get nice and relaxed in this chair here. Probably, and let your head come back just a little. Is that a lot of pressure? Does that feel wonky?
Yeah, I definitely feel like the pressure.
Yeah. So then I'm assuming that there's maybe some tender pain here, but more of like a bone pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then over here, this feels kind of like, just really like, I don't know, pressure. I would say visceral. You know what I'm saying when I say visceral?
Yeah.
Like your organs, like I'm pressing in and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's doing something to like your organs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really bad. It's really,
I have a lot of pain there. That's like between my shoulder blades and my neck. That's where it starts. And then it kind of just goes to the rest of my body throughout the day.
L5, L4, L3, and L2. And then L2, so let your shoulders kind of really relax and your stomach kind of really relax down. Does this feel okay?
Yeah.
It already started to go. There it goes, and that's the rest. It was like, I was gonna like,
I was not expecting that.
which is why it set so well. As soon as I felt the first one, I was like, all right, we gotta get the rest of it. That felt pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Good. So that L2, that set right real good, real deep. And then lift your chin up just a little bit and let it all relax down again. Very nice. Set good. Xray, make sure we get our listing correct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a P. It's actually PRI. So I'm going to get here on this side. Seven and 8. What's more tender? 1, 2.
1.
Okay. Stick with the initial listing. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on the spinous for this one. And we're going to tissue pull. We have to push this way. See how it's on the left? It's going out on the left. So we're going to tissue pull to the right. We're going to torque down. Got to find the right torque. Right there. There it goes. We wanted to make sure that we took out the rotation coming this way, but still kept the pressure that way.
I feel it.
Yeah, good. So I'm going to show you some stretches that you're going to do to really start to take care of these hip flexors, which your hips should start popping less or feeling looser anyways just after today. I mean, unless you're sitting down for, I don't know, ungodly amounts of hours, because that you're going to have to get up and stretch a little bit anyways. But, you know, this moved great. And that's, you know, a tough adjustment to make, especially if you don't have the right table.
I feel like I can move more.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel more free, essentially.
Good.
Yeah. I feel like I'm even standing straighter.
You're good.
It's weird. Because earlier I was like, I'm just like, yeah, I feel so much better actually.
Good.
I feel free.
That's what happens. We took the spine out, we took the stress off the spine, and then we haven't even done the cervical yet. We take the stress off the spine, and the body's going to start to, you know, express itself in its natural, happy, moving better, you know, kind of state. And one of the things that you're going to do starting even tonight is you're going to, when you're home, is you're going to do this on one knee. So a stretch, you know this stretch? That was my foot cramps up stretch. So what you want to do is you put your knee, and you kind of like lean your knee into the ground as you move your whole hip forward. And then you slowly raise your hands up. And what'll happen is you'll feel, which is more jittery maybe.
Yeah.
From all your bulletproof coffee. Wait, no, that's my bulletproof coffee. It's your cold brew. Kick out your left foot a little more. Good. There's a little bit. gonna get the left and the rest. Push back a little bit more. You're comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So let your head just kind of relax and let it drop this way. Good. A little bit more.
Hello.
All right. So let's have you walk around a little bit.
Oh, that feels better.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
So I can move my neck more.
Yeah, that was.
Because earlier I still felt a little pressure in my neck. Now it's just like, oh, nice. This is what normal feels like. Awesome.
So let's have you come up here because we're gonna get some more.
Okay.
Make sure you can breathe. You have a good amount of pressure coming through. So nice breath in and all the way out. The shoulders drop down. There it is. You got a new neck now.
Yeah, it feels weird. I'd get used to it.
So what we're going to do now is I'm going to adjust your feet. Face. Hold on, let me get you a paper. Sorry. Bobby. Face up on here. I'm going to take your shoes off.
Okay.
And then doing cuboid leg. Better.
Feels nice. I mean, I know I have the same answer, but I just feel like I can move more.
No, that's good. And I mean, if you're not getting adjusted often, and you're dealing with potentially something that's causing, inflammation, or there's some kind of a neuro or again, blood flow restriction going to certain joints, this is going to get more and more and more locked up.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, the primary thing is to not only get them moving, but specifically influence the organs, muscles, and glands that might be not functioning so good because of whatever trauma that's happened from the past.
Oh, quick question.
Yeah.
So, I have this thing on my wrist. I feel I should have mentioned that. Here, it hurts. It's been like for probably a year now, and like occasionally, like probably once every 2 months or once a month, I have to wear a brace because it hurts so bad. Like I can't move it at all. But this one's just fine. I feel everything.
Okay.
This one, I feel something there, and it just hurts, and sometimes it swells up.
Okay.
My entire wrist, and I don't know what it could be. It feels like a pinched nerve, but I don't know what that's supposed to feel like. So. My wasn't good.
You feel like how this is all clicky and poppy, like that's all like crunchy?
Uh-huh.
And then this one, well, there's a little crunchiness, but this one just kind of springs right back. Like, this is loosey-goosey. This just shoots right back right away. So you've got some kind of like a tight flexor in here that's causing it to pull right back. Let's see if you have maybe a ganglion cyst or something. It doesn't feel like it.
That's tender.
Just tender?
With when you have the other thumb on there. Yeah, right there we go.
Okay. So we definitely can make some adjustments here on the distal radius and the scaphoid. Lunate as well. But see this right here? This is tender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like really hypertonic right here in the extensors and the distal extensors. I can see the face you're making, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of that has to do with up here. Again, this feeds everything that comes down this way.
Yeah.
So, first thing we'll do is let this arm relax. I just want to make sure that it's...
Oh, I think I know what this is. I don't like it.
That's all that is.
Okay.
Yeah. That would move nice. And then, so this is gonna feel hopefully good.
I hope so.
I mean, once we get past the adjustments, it's actually the,
Oh.
I know that felt good.
That felt good, but leading up to it, it didn't.
Yeah, I know, because that's how locked up that was. This is distal radius.
Oh, that was cool. That was a nice crack.
Yeah, it was. There you go.
Oh, yay.
And now watch this. So now if you just put your hand back like so, there you go. Look at that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Now, and let it relax. See, it's just gonna drop right back. Just like that.
Magic.
Distal radius. I haven't done one of those in a while. And then we can just get the scaphoid to set in place like this. So if you pull away, it'll let it relax. There it goes. And that gaps and sets the scaphoid in real nice. I'm gonna leave the lunate alone because of that big adjustment on the radius. So what I'm gonna do that's gonna be a little different is I'm gonna cross fiber this.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to use this lotion here, and I'm going to do what's called cross fiber.
What does that do?
It breaks up the adhesions that are in the extensors, which this is like half of what it was a moment ago because that radius set so nice. So what I do is I'll adjust, these bones here because they don't compromise the triangular cartilage that's in here. So if we just willy-nilly took a guess and went like this, that could damage the cartilage. But what we do is we see that, yeah, and you have less pain overall, then I'm happy. Good. Okay.
Thank you so much. If I never have to see that brace again, I'm gonna be so happy.
I think you're gonna start feeling a lot better.
I look forward to it.
All right.
I feel brand new. I feel 23.
Feels 23. She was starting to feel 43, but she feels 23.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So, tell us what's been going on since the first visit 2 days ago.
Not fine for me. I feel the same as when I left. I feel fine. I feel limber.
Okay.
But the pain, I haven't had any pain, but I was telling him I don't know if it's because of the adjustments, because they would come and go. It'd be a whole week of pain, and then I would be lucky for 3 days and not have pain and such. So I don't know if it's because of that or whatnot, but I feel better for sure.
Okay.
But I haven't had any pain until today. I don't know.
So as of today, still, so from when you left the office feeling great and limber and everything's feeling lighter and looser, and then nothing but no flare-ups, and what about the tremor? Have you had a tremor since 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So tremor's still there.
Yeah, and I actually, I woke up with a headache yesterday, took a pill, didn't go away. It was just that pressure, annoying pressure. My neck and my head was just there all day yesterday.
Okay. So actually headache, all right.
That's about it.
Okay. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll go, just briefly to go over the X-ray one more time, just so we can get an idea, because we have the report now, so we know exactly, and we'll kind of go from there. Right wristband.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah.
Good. It was a little sore, the next day.
Yep.
But not crazy.
Yeah, all that soft tissue stuff, so it makes much smaller break, the reading, right, on the neck. It was huge swing the last time we were here, right in there. This time it's much smaller. And then we are getting a break in the upper cervical, just again slight, but it's up there this time. Which is good that things are changing even after one visit. You go ahead and sit up straight, which I know we made some really good progress with our adjustments in the first visit. And then pick your elbows up and put them on my arm. Yeah. And now go ahead and lean forward. She said out, right on that spot. fixed now. This is good. You know why it's good? Because this right here wasn't moving at all the first time. And already it's motioning better. And then over here now, we have our new subluxation today. All right, put your arms down. And we got a nice break right there. And this is gonna be 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. T8. And we look at the X-ray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right at the peak of the left scoliosis.
That's cool.
Which the last time we adjusted was L2, I believe. So T12, L1, L2, again, just under, but really you could say if you're looking at 2 segments as a motion segment with the disc in the middle, right at the peak. So not surprised. I think we might double feet on this one here. Right there. Nice breath in and all the way out. Nice. There's a little bit more. And your shoulders relaxed, nice, and let your chest and your stomach just drop down. Yeah. There's
Whoa.
a left atlas. Karina, which one's more tender? Can you hear where my fingers are, like causing pressure and pain?
Mm-hmm.
Or right side here?
The left side.
Left side?
Mm-hmm.
I thought. Okay. We're going to do an adjustment on this bone here, and you might feel both sides kind of like make noise, but kind of just to prepare you, like just in case like we adjust here and you feel it only on the right, but
Okay.
you got to do it. This is that vagus nerve I was talking about in the first meeting.
Yeah.
Because if you woke up with a headache the other day, even though the rest of your body started feeling good, but we have multiple things we have to work on, and I talked about adjusting in patterns, you know, we're gonna, with no reading and all this moving better, even if it still needs to get worked on in the future, we're gonna go right after this upper cervical today. Because remember, our goal is to get you as good as you can, as fast as we can. You tell everybody. So go ahead though and scoot forward. Like scoot your, so slide down even more if you can. Yeah, right there. Are you cool? Are you comfy?
Yeah.
Good. So let's go ahead and have your head come over to the right. And I'm just going to set my fingers down at this top bone here. And I'm going to bring your head over to the left. And you just let it kind of relax and just drop into my hand there. Yeah. Good. That was easy. And relax here. We're just going to do some motion. Better. Did you feel that open up on this side?
I heard a pop all around.
All around?
Yeah.
So let your head relax. This is pretty tender too, huh?
That's where I feel like the most of the pressure in my head.
So if any of the people watch any of the Gonstead videos on YouTube, they'll hear a particular doctor talk about critical atlas. And he talks about critical atlas being a C2 subluxation underneath a C1 subluxation. So even though we just cleared that C1, we're gonna look at the scope and see if we still have pressure up there, and if we do, because the way that I'm feeling it right now, I think we do have to adjust C2 as well and clear the whole upper cervical complex. There's definitely a reading still there. And we feel it. So let's go ahead and clear it. Yeah. Just a little more and let it drop to the right. Good.
Oh.
She's tough. Only getting little pieces. See what I'm going to do? I'm going to use some alcohol to feel how it's like a little slick. Good, because you got healthy skin. So what we're going to do is have your head come over to the left, and you're going to push back towards me with your chin tucked down. Yeah, push back even more. Okay, now let it relax. Almost there. Let it relax. There's more. My goal is to say there's the rest. Just like last time. Stop to get the rest on this side. And head down, chin down, push back towards me. Yeah, there it is. Okay, nice and relaxed. Let it fall into my hand. Okay. There we go. It's like piece. All right, so walk around a little bit, see how that feels. I know it's hard to gauge from just a couple of adjustments up there.
Honestly, less pressure.
Less pressure?
Mm-hmm. Especially in the center. I felt it the most right here.
Okay.
Less for sure.
Good.
I kind of already had a headache going too, and it's kind of subsided as well.
Nice. See that? Headaches going away in the chiropractor's office. Would we like to hear that?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we actually did have a bunch of views on Instagram and YouTube. So I just want to clarify what we felt last time. So if you relax these, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's completely different, yeah. So what we did was last time, if we did this, both of her wrists would, if we do this when we're just motioning, we want to see them like drop right down. We want to see them drop right down. Because you should have equal amounts of, assuming there's no injury, equal amounts of flexion and extension in your wrist. So what we did last time when we were testing this is we would do this, and then this one wouldn't drop right down. What it would do is it would kind of like want to go down and then kind of just come right back up. So what happened was the bottom of this bone was subluxated for whatever reason out this way, right? The distal part of that radius was subluxated that way. And that's why when we made that adjustment through here with such a big pop and crack and everything, because we set it back into place, that allowed all this to relax. And then we worked out a lot of these tight muscles here. And now today she's coming in and even Steven. You know what I mean? So that's really good. So we're gonna do a little bit of muscle work. Okay, I got my stuff. Is it all right if we use this? Yeah, it's deep blue. It's like it's just like a muscle rub. It's just the best one that I've seen. So I like it.
Does it smell nice?
Yeah, it smells nice. It'll complement the fragrance that I already put on in before you guys entered. We got compliments over here about how good the office smells.
Mm-hmm. What's it? You said it was an air freshener.
Yeah, some kind of way.
It smelled like a oil diffuser that you had running. It smells really good.
Got them all fooled. No oil diffuser in this office. So now we're gonna have, make your head like kind of neutral and straight, which it kind of is already. Move it back just a little. There you go. Now, with your head, lean over to the right side and let this arm relax. Let me have the total weight of it. Good. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take all this muscle and all those bundles of nerves, the superficial nerves that sit up here, let your arm relax. I know it might be a little tough. I'm not pulling that hard though. It's really not that much. Okay, so from right here, bring your head to the left. So left ear to left shoulder, slowly, slowly. Right there. That's a little tough, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, bring back to neutral. And let this arm relax. There we go. Okay, right ear to right shoulder. Let that arm relax in my hand. Good. Let it come back. Right there. Good. Okay, so from right here, keep the arm relaxed and go left ear to left shoulder. All right, and let it come back down. I saw you smiling under that mask.
You know, a lot of the time I don't even realize that I'm tense until you like mention it.
Yeah. Let it relax. Let me have the weight of it. Yeah. You got a stressed spine. You got a lot of stress. I mean, we saw it on the X-ray. We feel it in the palpation, and it's manifesting itself in recent times, right? Mm-hmm. Let your arm relax. And so what I'm actually going to do now with I'll go ahead and sit up straight while I Velcro this close, okay, and sit back. What I'd like to do now is, even though the reading may not be accurate, I'm going to see what the scope says after all the adjusting. I'm just curious, and then I'm going to repalpate and see if there's any more in that upper cervical. Now it totally changed reading.
For better or worse?
Oh, it's different, that's for sure. Now the tissue's warmed up here, so it's not there. So now we're just getting a little jump out to the left. The break that was here is gone. Let's see how it feels. Scoot forward in the chair if you could. And let your head relax. Pressure. And chin down. And push back towards me. Kick your feet out. And chin down, push back. And let it fall.
Whoa.
Now that's why you stick with the chiropractor.
Whoa.
That's what we wanted.
That one.
That's beautiful. That might be a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
But
I feel super relaxed right now.
Yeah, that took the pressure off the nerve there. That's what I wanted earlier. See, I guess there is something to doing a little soft tissue before. Who knows? But
Much better.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're ready to stand up and walk around, and I mean.
Oh my God, it's gone. All the pressure's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I feel so much better.
We worked hard for that one.
I feel light, very light. I feel like I'm walking on clouds.
Good. The goal is to get you walking on clouds moving forward for days and weeks and months to come, where, we don't have to, adjust so often.
Oh, I can move so much easier than that. Really. I would always feel like a little ache when I would like turn a certain way. So
Yeah.
now it's like, ooh. This is nice. Much better. Thank you.
All right. Always a pleasure. And as everybody knows, we're now going to talk about some diet stuff. So until next time, YouTube.